Coming up on the Rockbridge Report, 100-year-old Henry Kissinger has passed away. We cover the life of the controversial former Secretary of State.
And then our own Emma Malinek says the wildfires are out, but the drought that caused them won't let go in Virginia.
There's a saying that the worst drought there ever was is the one you're in right now.
Then we go over what the latest truce means for Israel and Hamas war.
And then Fraley Williams joins us live from the Lexington Police Department to talk about what new body cams could mean for local police officers. And later in the show, Caroline Shimp has your forecast as cold, rainy temperatures head your way.
All this and more coming up on the Rockbridge Report.
Live from the campus of Washington and Lee University with news from Rockbridge County, this is the Rockbridge Report.
Welcome to the Rockbridge Report. I'm John Beekman Youngblood.
And I'm Erica Kenny. One of the most influential foreign policy figures in U.S. history is gone. Dr. Henry Kissinger, who served as U.S. Secretary of State and National Security Advisor at the same time, died Wednesday. CNN's John Lawrence reports.
I have never dealt with a group of people as treacherous as the North Vietnamese leadership.
Henry Kissinger once said, "Power is the ultimate aphrodisiac," and he would have known. After escaping Nazi Germany in his childhood, Kissinger would become one of the most powerful figures in politics during the Richard Nixon administration.
Kissinger provided a genius for playing multi-level diplomatic chess, which allowed the U.S. government and the Nixon administration to implement Nixon's policies, the most famous of which, of course, was the opening to China.
Kissinger was criticized by some for his decision to increase U.S. military action during the Vietnam War.
I would then recommend that you start farming the retreat within 48 hours.
Kissinger received the 1973 Nobel Peace Prize for his work in helping arrange the end of the U.S. military's involvement in the Vietnam War.
Henry Kissinger was a towering figure in U.S. foreign relations, both admired and hated.
Kissinger was 100 years old. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Former President George W. Bush issued a statement calling Kissinger, quote, one of the most dependable and distinctive voices on foreign affairs.
New details are emerging about law enforcement's response on the day of a near 4-hour-long lockdown at Washington and Lee University earlier this month. Virginia State Police sent 17 troopers to search campus and nearby sites after calls about threatening emails and possible gunshots at a fraternity house on East Nelson Street. Visit our website at rockbridgereport.wlu.edu for more.
Wildfires across Virginia are now under control, but the drought that caused them is not. The U.S. Drought Monitor reports Rockbridge County has been in severe drought since the start of the month. Local livestock farmers say no amount of rain will help them now, even if it does put out the fires. Emma Malinek reports.
The Virginia Department of Forestry blames widespread drought for making the wildfires so difficult to contain.
In the autumn months, leaves and twigs fall to the forest floor and create what's called a litter layer. Most years, this litter layer acts as a blanket that retains water. But in drought years like this one, leaves are so dry that they act more like a matchbox than a blanket.
The U.S. Forest Service reports about 3.5 inches of rain doused Bedford County's 11,000-acre wildfire last week. But the rain came too late to help local farmers. Rockbridge County's agricultural extension agent says farmers have felt the effects of below-average precipitation and above-average temperatures since August.
There's a saying that the worst drought there ever was is the one you're in right now.
Irrigation techniques have kept most crops growing at normal rates. But livestock farmers say grass fields withered in the dry conditions. There's not enough grass for animals to graze now, and certainly not enough for landowners to harvest and save for winter. Local farmers say alternative feed can cost hundreds of dollars per day, so they are cutting other costs to make ends meet.
We're not going to have the ability to bring on as many animals, for example, as we would have in another season.
Some farmers are turning to sustainability strategies, such as rotating herds to prevent overgrazing and planting cover crops to help fields absorb more water. A Washington and Lee biology professor says these practices are more important now than ever. They not only help farmers, but also protect the community from fires that are fueled by dry conditions.
There are other things that can be done to prevent catastrophic fires from occurring. It's just deciding on what the best management practice is.
For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Emma Malinak.
The temporary truce between Israel and Hamas is extended once again. Officials from both sides issued statements saying the pause in military action will continue for a seventh day.
It almost came down to the last minute, but a deal to extend the Israel-Hamas truce for one more day is finally agreed upon, according to statements from both sides.
We won't play games here. We're not going to play games with the lives of our people. Hamas knows what the parameters of the deal are.
This marks the second time the pause in military action has been lengthened since the original four-day truce that started Friday.
This is a humanitarian pause in our fight against Hamas. Israel is determined to destroy Hamas's military machine and to end its rule over Gaza.
Since the pause began, dozens of Israelis were freed by Hamas and 210 Palestinians were released from Israeli jails, according to officials. Some much-needed aid has also been brought into the Gaza region as the Hamas-led Ministry of Health says the healthcare system in northern Gaza has lost more than 60% of its capacity over all of its hospitals.
The level of aid to Palestinians in Gaza remains completely inadequate to meet the huge needs of more than 2 million people.
As for what lies ahead,
the Israeli position is crystal clear on this. If Hamas continues to release hostages 10 a day, we will extend the pause.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
The Israeli military is assessing a claim from Hamas that a 10-month-old Israeli hostage, her mother and brother, have died while being held captive. Soon, every Lexington police officer may have body-worn cameras. The department is awaiting approval for a federal grant that could cover some of the cost. Shirley Williams reports.
Chief Angela Green said the department may be getting 18 body-worn cameras, one for each officer. The total cost of the cameras, like this one from Axon, would be over $120,000. Chief Green said the department applied for a federal grant that could pay for some of the cost.
The grant, if we are approved, the maximum that they give towards the cameras is $36,000. So the city would still have to be responsible for $86,000.
Nationally, there has been a push for body-worn cameras since the brutal killing of George Floyd in 2020. Green said she hopes getting these cameras in Lexington will create more transparency and accountability with the community.
It only takes one questionable incident to happen, and then that can create those cracks in our foundation of trust with our community members.
Lexington police officers already wear body-worn microphones that start recording anytime emergency equipment is activated. Some officers, including Detective Donovan Lewis, foresee that the body-worn cameras will operate the same way.
Anytime the lights and sirens come on, it should turn on. Anytime we get out with anybody in the community, they should be turned on. And then normally for what we do, we usually don't turn off the mics or the body-worn cameras, is what I'm going to assume, until we're done with that call.
Chief Green said that initially only the department and the Commonwealth's attorney will have access to the body-worn camera footage. Commonwealth's attorney Jared Moon said his office will see an increase in caseloads.
There's a lot more work involved in that. Prosecutors are ethically obligated to review all footage for cases that we prosecute, just to be sure there's nothing exculpatory in that footage.
Detective Lewis said the department will have the ability to blur out sensitive items and the faces of citizens in the footage for privacy concerns. David Natkin, an attorney in Lexington, said that he has not seen citizens concerned with invasions of their privacy.
That was certainly what our concern was, is that, everybody would be recorded all the time, but I have not really seen much of that concern.
Lexington police officers are confident that the addition of body-worn cameras will create greater trust in the community. Chief Green said the department will know if they receive the federal grant in the next few months. If the department gets the money, a policy will be created and the cameras will be put into use. Reporting from Lexington, I'm Fraley Williams for the Rockbridge Report.
Coming up on the Rockbridge Report, a recent Russian airstrike has brought the war in Ukraine back in the news. We give you the latest after the break.
Hi, this is Caroline Shimp with the Rockbridge Report. We're finally feeling colder temperatures here in Lexington, although the sun is shining, but I'll let you know if there are colder temperatures heading your way with the 5-day forecast.
And find out what local food and drink businesses have attracted people from across the world. Welcome back to the Rockbridge Report. GOP Representative George Santos has called on his House colleagues to expel Democratic Representative Jamal Bowman for pulling a fire alarm during a meeting when there was not an emergency.
Now, therefore, be it resolved that pursuant to Article 1, Section 5, Clause 2 of the Constitution of the United States, Representative Jamal Bowman be hereby is expelled from the House of Representatives.
All of this comes after Santos himself has been the subject of expulsion from Congress. House lawmakers from both parties agreed on Tuesday to vote regarding the expulsion of Santos later this week.
Lawmakers are calling for change in the wake of rising attacks against Jews across the U.S. This comes as the FBI said anti-Semitism is reaching historic levels, particularly on college campuses. Jen Sullivan has more on the calls to combat this crisis.
In an impassioned speech Wednesday, Senator Majority Leader Chuck Schumer pushing to stop Jewish hate.
The rise of anti-Semitism is a crisis, a 5-alarm fire that must be extinguished.
For more than 40 minutes, the New York senator, who is Jewish, called for change.
I implore every person, every community, every institution to stand with Jewish Americans, not to ignore it.
Other leaders showing support for Schumer's call to action.
I share his disgust at the alarming rise of anti-Semitism.
In the month after Hamas attacked Israel on October 7th, the Anti-Defamation League says anti-Semitic incidents in the U.S. are up 316% compared to that period last year. It's particularly concerning on college campuses, where the ADL says 73% of Jewish college students have experienced or seen anti-Semitism since the beginning of the school year. On Tuesday, a group of Jewish students, alumni, and faculty filed a lawsuit against the University of California at Berkeley, claiming the school failed to protect Jewish people from discrimination on campus.
When you don't enforce policy in every situation, only certain situations, that to me is discrimination.
UC Berkeley saying the university has long been committed to confronting anti-Semitism. The Department of Education is investigating other college campuses across the country over alleged incidents of anti-Semitism and Islamophobia, one of the many reasons lawmakers are calling to end hate.
The time for solidarity must be now.
I'm Jen Sullivan reporting.
At least 2 people were killed and 10 others injured after Russian missile strikes in eastern Ukraine. Local officials say 3 towns in the Donetsk region were hit by a barrage of rockets around midnight Wednesday. Many people were trapped in the rubble of their homes. 4 children are among those injured. The World Food Travel Organization reported that between 2018 and the present, food has become a main motivator for travelers when choosing a destination. As Jack Krause reports, artisan food and drink businesses are bringing more tourists into the county.
This year, Cocoa Mill Chocolate Company was voted the most innovative chocolatier in the U.S. by European food magazine Lux Life. Roadmap Coffee Works landed 2 coffees on Coffee Review's Top 30 Coffees of the Year. Roadmap managing partner Jack Scholl said the award pulls in travelers.
So we get more and more people who are sort of nerding out in the specialty coffee realm for sure every year. About 40% of the retail customers in here are actually from outside the county.
Customers are willing to pay a premium for artisan food and drink.
I'd say we're probably 50% higher than a big box store's retail candy box.
Businesses in the county like Echo Odesso Vineyards are also working to draw in food and drink travelers, or foodies, who will travel long distances and pay more for artisan products.
What the owners are trying to do and create and build, I think this will be a destination spot. We want to make sure people know that we're here and that people, when they go on these trails or these, visits, that we're one of the stops.
The World Food Travel Association said that 53% of leisure travelers consider themselves culinary travelers. A local foodie, Aurora McLean, said she searches for artisan wine and coffee whenever she travels.
I really like their single origin beans and that they have lighter roasts. So it's an experience with coffee.
For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Jack Krause.
Several Lexington hotels are now refusing to accept homeless guests. Previously, 5 hotels had partnered with the Rockbridge Area Relief Association to accept vouchers to cover their lodging. Meanwhile, a new report shows that there are about 640 people that are homeless in Rockbridge County, Lexington, and Buena Vista. Read Jenny Helwig's full story about homelessness at rockbridgereport.wlu.edu. Coming up on the Rockbridge Report, this summer's heat resulted in worldwide record temperatures. We'll review some of the evidence.
And then later in the newscast, Mackenzie Kane interviews Washington Elite quarterback Stephen Murren following his final game as a General.
It wouldn't change anything for the world. It's an incredible place with a ton of incredible people, and just wouldn't change anything for the world. It's an incredible place with a ton of incredible people, and just extremely blessed.
Welcome back to the Rockbridge Report.
This morning, Russia's Supreme Court outlawed LGBTQ+ activism. This ruling is just the latest attempt from Russian President Vladimir Putin to silence LGBTQ+ activists in the country. The ruling by Judge Oleg Nefedov effectively prohibits any organized activity to defend the rights of LGBTQ+ people. The exact nature of these restrictions is unknown at this time. 2023 is set to be the warmest year on record, so says a report issued this morning. Each month from June through October set new global monthly temperature records by wide margins. July 2023 was the warmest month on record. The globe's record warmth continues as greenhouse gases are at record highs, sea levels are at record highs, ocean temperatures are at record highs, and Antarctic's sea ice levels set record lows.
We are living through climate collapse in real time, and the impact is devastating. This year has seen communities around the world pounded by fires, floods, and searing temperatures. Today's report shows we are in deep trouble. Leaders must get us out of it, starting at COP28.
Even with record temperatures across the globe, it's been pretty chilly around here lately.
I know, John B. I've been loving layering lately. How's the weather going to look like for the rest of the week, Caroline?
It has been pretty chilly recently. Lucky for us, we might get a break in the cold weather this weekend. So let me take you into the forecast. You're currently looking at a lovely live shot of downtown Lexington. Looking at our current conditions, a little warmer with a high of 55 and a low of 32. The barometric pressure is 30 and 12/100 inches. The wind speed making it a little chillier today at 10 miles per hour, and the humidity comfortably at 37%. Heading into our radar, it's pretty dry out here. We may have some sprinkles here and there over the weekend, but let's look at our regional temperatures. Pretty consistent, Lexington, Stanton, Buena Vista, 54 and sunny. Warmer up in Charlottesville, sunny. Lynchburg, 59 degrees and sunny. Heading over to Covington, the coldest, 47 degrees and sunny. In Roanoke, a bit of clouds and 58. Now let's head into our 5-day forecast. Be prepared, Friday we will have some chances of precipitation with a high of 45, only a low of 42 though. And into Saturday, it'll be a high of 60, a low of 47. Sunday, cloudy with a high of 59, low of 41. Heading into the start of our week, sunshine, high of 54 on Monday, low of 30. Same with Tuesday, high of 50 and a low of 30. Back to you, Erica and John B.
Thanks, Caroline. Coming up on the Rockbridge Report, we keep you up to date with all the latest scores in Rockbridge County. Welcome back to the Rockbridge Report. So what do you guys think I should do this weekend?
I don't know. I think the best way to kick off this weekend may be to watch some soccer.
What a great play on words, John B. Let's roll into sports. W&L football fell to Lycoming College 20-17 in the Cape Charles Bowl on November 17th. Our Mackenzie Kane spoke with senior quarterback and captain Stephen Murren after the game.
Good afternoon, Rockbridge. I'm here on Washington Lee's Wilson Field for the inaugural Cape Charles Bowl. Joining me here on the field is General starting quarterback and senior captain Stephen Murren. Now, Stephen, this was your last game on Wilson Field. What has it meant to you being a General these past few years?
Yeah, it's meant the world. You know, coming in during COVID and getting that first year taken away from us, we've just cherished every moment, every second of it. And to see it come to a close today is definitely tough, but it wouldn't change anything for the world. It's an incredible place with a ton of incredible people, and just extremely blessed for the opportunity to be a General.
Now, at the end of the game, we saw the team go into the end zone and line up as the seniors walk down the line. Can you just talk us through what that tradition is?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of the more special traditions that we have in our program. So at the end of every season, the entire team lines up with with the coaching staff, and the seniors get a chance to shake everyone's hand and really just cherish that last moment as the team. So it's pretty special.
You spent a couple of years on the other side of that line, being the one saying goodbye. How does it feel to be the one walking?
It doesn't feel real yet. It's pretty surreal. The time here goes by extremely fast, so to be on the other side is definitely tough, but I'm just super excited for the future of this program and the guys that are still have another year. So.
Now, Stephen, before I let you go, what message are you leaving with these returners for next season?
Cherish every moment. Don't take a second for granted. It's easy to say from a senior's perspective, but it goes by too fast, so just soak it all up.
Thank you so much for your time. Congratulations on such a fantastic career. And signing off with the Rockbridge Report, I'm Mackenzie Kane.
Washington and Lee's men's basketball team traveled to Harrisonburg last night and took down Eastern Mennonite University 84-73. Seniors Jack Dontremont and Rob DeCebo lead the scoring for the Generals with 22 points each. The women's basketball team also faced an ODAC opponent at home last night. Sophomore Mary Slicener led the team to a 65-62 victory over Bridgewater with 21 points and 18 rebounds. Before Thanksgiving, the WNL men's soccer team beat Colorado College to stamp their ticket to the NCAA Division III Final Four. The Generals beat the Tigers in penalty kicks 5-4 after a scoreless full game and overtime. They will face Amherst in Salem, Virginia tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. If they win, they will play either Washington College or St. Olaf in the championship game at noon this Sunday. VMI's men's basketball team fell to Navy last night to Annapolis, Maryland. Corey Cotton led the Keydets in scoring with 21 points. SVU's men's basketball team fell to Mary Washington 73-48 yesterday. The women's team also lost to Mary Washington 52-35 on Tuesday. Also, SVU's men's swimming team set 7 new school records at its most recent meet at William Peace. Last weekend, the team finished 4th. Rockbridge County High School varsity boys basketball team fell to Allegheny 67-43 in the first game of the season yesterday. The boys team won its first dual meet over Waynesboro and Harrisonburg. The girls team finished 3rd. Perry McClure's boys basketball topped James River 50-15 last night. And the Fighting Blues girls basketball beat Alta Vista on the road on Monday 53-13. That's all for sports. Back to you, Erica.
Thanksgiving may be in the rear view, but if you have leftover pumpkin pie or any other type of pie, Friday is the perfect day to devour it. That's because December 1st is National Pie Day. Actually, make that National Pie Day Part 2. The Pie Day celebration on December 1st is the second observance of the year. According to nationaldaycalendar.com, the more popular National Pie Day is on January 23rd. Bake it up, slice it up, and gobble it up, whether it's blueberry, sweet potato, pumpkin, or pecan. Any way you slice it, it's a nice way to celebrate the end of the week. That's all for Rockbridge Report. Thanks for watching.
For more local and national news, check out our website, rockbridgereport.wlu.edu. Join us again next Tuesday for our live update at 3:30 and next Thursday. It's another half-hour edition of the Rockbridge Report.